Okay, quick music disclaimer here. I do not own the rights to this music, which belongs to the rightful owner, who is the intoxicating mind of Dr. Frankenstein. So he made my intro and my outro, and I hope you guys enjoy. Check them out on Spotify and YouTube, and no copyright infringement is intended. Have a good day.
A clear choice of good versus evil, of right versus wrong.
Twisted Tales.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to Twisted Tales. So I'm going to fire off episode 6 here, and we're going to talk about an Olympic skier called Inguald Bing Anderson. So Bing Anderson, actually a wicked Olympic skier. He's actually born in Berlin. Wicked, amazing country there. So some say he was actually born under a ski jumper star, because he was a man highly known for his outstanding athleticism and extraordinary ski jumps. An all-around great Olympian. In 1921, for instance, he actually made the record for longest jump on Payne's Hill for a tremendous 80-foot and 7-inch jump, eventually being rewarded third place and then deducted points because he actually had a little bit of a fall. In another contest, the Gorham contest of the same year, he actually took second prize. Flashback to 1922. So a rumor began to circulate that shortly before the Berlin Winter Carnival, Anderson actually planned on beating the local champion. At this contest, he made a new record slide at 111 feet, and he made 3 perfect jumps. Roughly a week later in Stowe, Vermont, he actually won first place, one of his best jumps being 97 feet. Anderson then followed consecutive victories in Saranac Lake and Placid Lake. I just wanted to give you listeners a little info on this guy's tremendous Olympic skiing career. I mean, sports were a big thing back then, much like they are now. But, nobody stays on top forever. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Alright, so let's head back into the outside excursions of our good friend Inguald Anderson. So he used an alias. He usually went by the name of Emmett Sloan. So after his run as the Olympic champion, he ended up running into some bad luck, became low on money, just flat out of ideas. Poor guy hadn't worked in months. Ended up staying in my hometown of Sydney, Nova Scotia, at the Norfolk Hotel on George Street in Sydney, Nova Scotia. During his stay, Inguald actually called the desk clerk. I hope I say this guy's name right. Oblas Rayberg, up to his room. He was actually had him under pretext of fixing a faulty overhead light. So, believing the clerk had money on him, Sloan began striking him in the head with an iron bar. Emptied Mr. Rayberg's pockets, and actually found no money. Quite the horrific act to get a couple bucks. I mean, there's other ways to get help, just gotta look for them. Sloan actually went downstairs to the lobby to check the desk downstairs for belongings, anything he could sell or, for money and whatnot. And there was a guy waiting to check in the lobby. And Sloan left the hotel room in a rush. Ventured out into a snowstorm towards the train tracks. He followed them all the way in the snow, cold, all that fun shit, down to a lumberyard near the municipality of Frenchville. So at the lumberyard, he was actually given shelter from the storm from a few workers.
Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm.
So a few of the workers in Sloan wanted to check the forecast of the storm. So they had an old radio. It's actually pretty finicky there, wouldn't come in most stations, but they fiddled with the knobs for a little while, and actually, instead of the storm, they actually got a broadcast that was about the murder at the Norfolk Hotel. And the radio broadcast described details of the crime and description of the suspect. The suspect was wearing a blue pencil-striped suit, and the same suit that was Sloan was wearing at the lumberyard. A little later on, a man named Neil McPherson, he actually testified during the trial. He stated that after the broadcast was heard, he looked directly at Sloan, pulled on a pair of boots, walked to the nearest house, and contacted police. So sometime after midnight, the chief of police arrived on a horse and sleigh, and he talked to our good friend Inguald Emmett Sloan, Anderson. He took him to lockup. The police chief and Sloan started to discuss the crime over a drink of rum. So, when he asked what was used for a murder weapon, Sloan replied that he used an iron bar, roughly 12 to 15 inches in length. This argument was actually later dismissed in court due to the drinking of the rum, and that was actually given to Sloan. So before the trial, a lawyer named Clarence Darrow was actually coming to represent Sloan, but failed to happen. He never showed up. So on March 15th, 1930, Sloan was found guilty, and he was confined to a small cell at the Old County Jail on Welton Street for a period of 3 months. Up until his death, Sloan actually maintained his innocence, and he didn't even confess for the crime. So even according to press reports, they felt that he did not care to remember that night in question. So at about 1 a.m., he was actually hung by the neck until dead. A trapdoor had sprung, and they hung him. His head actually swelled up twice the size due to the hanging. So our old pal Inguald is dead, and 60 people actually witnessed the hanging from the jails, also hundreds from outside of the prison. Everybody just wanted to come catch a glimpse. Even the hangman was advised by the authorities to get out of town as quickly as possible due to some backlash. Ironically, little tidbit of info for you, the hangman, whose name was actually Arthur Ryu, stayed at the same hotel as the accused. Pretty fucked up. And there you have it, folks. Another twisted tale for you. Sloan was actually the second last man to actually hang in Cape Breton. Hangings were actually quite common back then. They also used the gallows as another way of execution, but that was actually abolished in Canada in 1976. But we'll touch more on that on a later date. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and I hope you guys have a good day. Take care.
Twisted Tales.